Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we have a Reddit idea that I elaborated on. This idea comes from Malformed Virus 5 on the MCC Reddit, and they came up with the idea as follows. Basically, I don't know the name, it may be like MCC Refresh or something, but basically it's similar to Rising, where it's 40 new contestants, but instead of all sizes, it's people of sizes you'd expect in regular MCCs. And then, well, they mentioned some people. And then in the description here, or in the comments here, someone mentions, I like this idea to separate it. You can have a regular team, maybe 3 new people, plus someone who's, like, someone, you know, that's already played. And then they said, not to copy blockers rookies. So, I wanted to elaborate on this idea. I think this is cool. However, I think the approach should be different, because if we look at MCC Season 4, this year, 2024 of MC Championship, we have seen a lot of new faces, a lot of infrequent appearances, a lot of people coming back after a long time. For example, just this past event, Abe played for the first time since MCC 27, which was 2 years ago pretty much, so that was cool. We've seen other people play a little bit more actively this year, who've been in the event for a while, such as Pearlescent Moon, Fwip, etc. There's plenty of other people that can be used as an example there. However, I think that instead of making an event that's focused on using the name MCC Refresh, right? Instead of making an event that's focused on bringing more new people into the event, and this is basically, like mentioned below, rookies slash if Rising was just the popular applications getting in technically, you know? This idea is cool. I like it. I do think MCC could do a rookies event maybe next year. I think it would be really cool. I'm curious to see what Scott would be able to do in terms of bringing new people in, making a weaker roster, etc. However, the idea that I had that follows MCC Refresh as a name is bringing people, or making an event consisting of people that have not really played MCC Season 4 or have barely played MCC Season 4, but still consisting of people that you would expect to maybe make an appearance at some point this year. And that led to something that took me a little bit to do, because I looked at every single MCC Season 4 event and every single MCC Season 4 event player and looked at how many events they have played. As you can see here, and I've brought this up in the past, the majority of people that have played MCC in Season 4 in 2024 are one-time players. Past that, you know, the second and the 2 and 3 time players is roughly equal now after MCC, what's it called, Twitch Rivals. There was a lot of people in Twitch Rivals that only played once before, namely Fine, Mox, Swamp Chilled, Tango, John, Janet, Curry, Wally, Skiz, etc. There's more. There's a lot. So, I want to make an event that technically compensates for this lack of returning players, you could say, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think it keeps the MCC roster relatively fresh. I think it's nice. It makes MCC more interesting, because it's less predictable who's going to be in, except for the fact that in Twitch Rivals events, they literally reveal the entire roster, which is not Noxcrew's fault, it's just how Twitch works. However, I wanted to make teams that follow along this. So, reverse this tier list, I guess. The top tier would be people that would be the least likely to get in. Obviously, Scott's going to get in because it's Scott's major. Assuming that I didn't forget. I actually don't remember if I put Scott in, but we'll see. And then for the rest, it's mostly going to be people that are in the bottom 3 tiers. There will be a couple people from the 4 and 3 time player tier that would be in, that I think would be people that just wouldn't really get benched if they're available. I do think there's more people that technically could fall under that. I just only picked 4 because I didn't want to just fill half the roster with people that would probably still get in if they signed up. So I think from memory, Toby is in, Shelby I think I put in, and then Scar, and I don't remember who the other one is, but I think I put 4 in. I don't remember. Anyways, let's get into it, because this is where it gets interesting. So, we have teams here. This might be a little difficult to see. I just want to go one by one to showcase kind of what's up here. So this team actually is one of the ones that has more frequent players on it. Joel's played, I think, 3 times. That's the other one, Joel. Joel's played 3 times. Green's played once. Scar's played 3 times. And Skiz has now played twice. for the most part, considering there's 5 mainline events, I'm not including Rising because obviously everyone will not have played Rising. For the most part, this is a team that's kind of falling in the middle. You know, they have people who've played just over half of the events. They've played people that have played less than half of the events, and I think it makes for a fun team, of course. Obviously, people would love to see Korean back, and I think Skiz being back for a second time is cool. I know Skiz was interested in being a regular as far as we could tell, at least before Skiz got invited. He showed a lot of interest in wanting to participate in MCCs, so that's very cool. And Joel is probably the biggest MCC player right now in terms of active players. For reference, in Twitch Rivals, obviously he streamed on Twitch. He still, I think, got the most viewers, or at least close to the most viewers. I don't know, I didn't check everybody, but from the list of people I saw, he had like one of the highest viewerships in the entire event. And he's a YouTube streamer, so that's kind of insane. And on YouTube, he pulls like 2 or 3 times as much as he did on Twitch. So very impressive, of course, but important to note. Also, wanted to highlight this. There's only 2 people who've played 5 times this year. That's Scott, of course, and Gucky, who I didn't even realize, really, that Gucky's been in pretty much every single event. But Gucky's been in pretty much every single event, so that's very cool. Shout out Gucky. Gucky's great. So very much deserved. Anyways, let's continue forth with these teams to showcase kind of the thought process. I think this next one has more infrequent players. Both SB and Ryguy have yet to play MCC this year. SB, I think, has been noted a lot more because SB previously was already very inactive, didn't really get to play much or didn't really sign up much to play in MCC. But with the recent addition to the Lifesteal SMP and just more talks of who will return and who will actually get in events, SB's name has been brought up a lot, and I think SB obviously has also showcased interest in wanting to play in MCC at some point again this year. So I hope maybe for the October event or the December event, we'll see an SB737 appearance. Ryguy Rocky, kind of flying under the radar here, has not been in MCC this year, and Ryguy used to be a very active player in MCC. I think Ryguy was in most of the Season 3 events, if I remember correctly, and also made frequent appearances in the past. I think Ryguy Rock has been in since like early MCCs. I don't know exactly which number, but if I had to put a number, maybe like MCC like 4 or something, maybe 5, I don't know. So Ryguy being a long-time MCC player, not seeing him this year is surprising. Cub also has only played twice this year, which Cub usually, or at least previously, Cub was also like an every event appearance type of person, but with the events that have been hosted, some of these ones just don't really make sense for Cub to be in, namely like Pride or the EU Twitch Rivals just weren't really ones that Cub could really get in easily. And then X has played twice, that being Kickoff and Pride. X actually played on team with Cleo, and Cleo also is making an appearance in these teams. So very fun, and this team has 2 people who haven't even played yet, and then 2 people who only played twice. But I do think both X and Cub would make sense to make an appearance, especially at least out of a lot of these people. Would be ones that I would expect to make maybe 1 or 2 appearances again in the next, 3 events probably this year. So I hope to see that happen, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Anyways, next up, Yellow Team has the following people. So this is where Scott makes his appearance. 5UP has only played twice this year, which is kind of surprising. I feel like 5UP was always a regular, but maybe I'm misinterpreting the 5UP MCC experience. Kara has also only played twice. I feel like Kara was someone who also was in pretty much every MCC back in the day, but considering the events that have been hosted, namely the 2 Twitch Rivals events where she casted, it kind of makes sense that she only made 2 appearances so far this year. I would expect her to play probably next event, if I had to guess. Maybe, I don't know. And then next is Lexi, who has only played once, which was in MCC Twitch Rivals EU, where she made her debut. I think from what we've seen with Scott and Lexi, they seem like they're really good friends, and kind of knowing how things go with who gets into MCC, as long as Lexi is interested, I think she would be a shoo-in to be added to regular MCCs. So I think it would make sense for her to play, and I think that would be a really fun team. I mean, there's like an Among Us trio, and then I think Lexi will fit the vibe. Obviously, her and Scott are like really good friends, so that would be really fun. Next up, Lime Team is the following. This kind of feels like a Pride team with Jimmy. However, Harvey has only played once this year. which I think was Pride. Martin has only played once this year, which I think was also Pride. And Sniff has played twice, which was, I think, both Pride and EU Twitch Rivals, where she was obviously on, or they were obviously on my team. And then Jimmy only played twice as well, which is super surprising. Jimmy Solidarity Gaming is our MCC regular. Where has he been? Well, to be fair, Pride isn't really Jimmy's event to play in. Then both of the Twitch Rivals, Jimmy being a YouTube streamer, not really his to play in. We're going to ignore that Joel was in Twitch Rivals NA, but not really fit for Jimmy to play in. So him only being in twice pretty much guarantees that as long as he's available, he'll probably make an appearance in the next MCC. I would be shocked if he doesn't. So that team here, pretty solid. I think it's fun. It's a pretty, standard MCC team. It's a lot of people that back in the day you would have expected to see pretty much on a very frequent basis. But this year, this team hasn't been very actively, or the people on this team haven't been actively in. And I think that they will make an appearance or two this year because, of course, they are regulars and they are fan favorites, especially Jimmy Solidarity Gaming. So, anyways, next up, Green Team. Green Team is a Vault Hunters team. This one is a little bit of a question mark because I included Etho, who has only played once this year in Kickoff. However, Etho potentially wouldn't. I don't know what types of teams Etho plays under. I think this would be fine considering he is on the Vault Hunters SMP, and these people, Pete, Jordan, and Abe, are all Vault Hunters members. But maybe that wouldn't work. I don't know. Etho seems more like a hermit type of person, and there's no hermits on this team. However, there is Pete, who is one of the regular top frags to be teamed with Hermitcraft members. So I think it would be fine. Anyways, Abe made his return for the first time in Twitch Rivals, and I think depending on how Abe experienced the event, he could maybe play again if he's asked. I don't know. Like he seems like someone who likes Minecraft, but maybe isn't like the biggest Minecraft event fan. Also important to note that both Pete and Jordan have only played twice this year, which is very surprising. Pete and Jordan are like two of the most regular MCC players historically, and they've only played twice. To be fair, it kind of makes sense because they both played in Kickoff. Neither of them would make sense for Pride. I think maybe Pete was not in Pride because then EU Twitch Rivals, Jordan would never attend an EU Twitch Rivals, I think. Pete coincidentally did, so Pete was in. Then the event following was Ender Cup, where Pete wasn't in, but Jordan was, and then the Twitch Rivals NA, neither of them were attending, I think, or at least neither of them played, so they both weren't in. And then Abe and Etho, as mentioned, both one-time players this year. Kind of expected. They're not very regular MCC participants, but they are ones that I think are always a fun. They're both people that I think are fun to see in the event. So I hope to see them back this year. I think it'd be really fun. Anyways, next up, Cyan Team is as follows. Also, one thing you'll notice is that a lot of the people that would be quote-unquote benched here are the S tiers. Kind of makes sense. MCC doesn't have that many regular S tier players. There's a decent portion of them. If you look over here, you have Shane, Fruit, Hannah, and JoJo, Purple, Shadoon, H-Bomb, Joel even would fit in, honestly, there. There's a good amount, but you'll notice a couple more making an appearance later on. But, those people are all regulars, and they're not in this roster because they've played 4 times, 3 times, that makes some room for other people for once, Anyways, moving on. Cyan Team is a team consisting of Antfrost, who has played twice, that being the first 2 events of this year, Kickoff and Pride. Kickoff being with the Small Ant or the Ant team, and Pride, obviously, Antfrost is going to be in Pride, so that makes sense. But then, Ant's team with 3 people who have yet to play MCC this year. Sam hasn't played, which is not super surprising. Sam has been a little inactive, infrequent in terms of appearing in Minecraft events. But Bad and Skeppy, I would have expected them to maybe make 1 appearance. They're already infrequent players, but they make an appearance together or just Bad solo every now and then. So I would have expected it, but maybe not this year. I don't know. Maybe they'll just make an appearance in Christmas or in Halloween or whatever. But obviously this team makes a lot of sense. It's pretty much a Manhunt-ish team, or at least Manhunt-associated team. So I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be a fun team. Not really much to say about this. It just makes sense. Anyways, next up is the Aqua team, which has Feinberg, probably a new fan favorite. Well, not too new. He was kind of already a fan favorite at MCC before he joined because of Block Wars and other events. Obviously, he's like one of the best speedrunners of all time, in terms of Minecraft at least. So that makes sense. This team is an interesting one. So Fein has played twice, Kickoff and Twitch Rivals NA. And Venom has only played once. He's only been in Kickoff. I will say, there's a chance that I maybe missed something, but I'm pretty sure all of what I looked at is accurate, but I could be wrong. Ant Venom only played in Kickoff on the Ant team, and then Ren hasn't played this year, but has talked, at least early on this year, about wanting to play in MCC under specific circumstances. Not sure if this team would fulfill it. If I remember correctly, Ren and Cleo, I think, wanted to be a duo, and that would maybe be the circumstance under which they would play. That being said, Cleo has also only played once this year, and Cleo typically is a Pride player, but maybe Cleo could make an appearance in a regular MCC again, or a non-Pride event. I think it would make a lot of sense. I think this would be a fun team, and I think Fein proved that he works on a team with Hermits in Twitch Rivals. I thought it was good. I think it went well. Obviously, he clutched up pretty well for the team. He helped his teammates perform a little bit better because that's the Feinberg difference. He's like the H factor on crack. Anyways, that's the Aqua team. I think it would make sense. It'd be cool. It'd be fun. And I think the Hermit audience would love to see a Rendog return and a Cleo return as well. Especially paired with Feinberg, because that means they have a chance at winning. And also, Ant Venom is a very good second frag, so this actually would be a pretty strong team. Also, I'm going to say this, before anyone looks into balancing too much, I tried to make somewhat balanced teams while keeping vibes that make sense. I don't know. Anyways, blue team is next. Here you have Chaos Team number 1. There's another Chaos team coming. I'm sure you can guess what it's going to be. Anyways, Sneeg, Toby, Shelby, and Sasha. Shelby here and Toby are both people who have played 4 times this year, so they don't really fit perfectly under the umbrella of a refresh MCC or whatever you want to call it, a returning MCC. However, Toby and Shelby are regulars, I'd say, in MCC. They're part of the list of unbenchable people. I think I don't really see Scott ever benching Toby or Shelby in an event. If they don't play, they're probably not available or they forgot to sign up. And then Sneeg and Sasha are included here too. Sneeg only played twice this year. Two Sneeg Snag appearances. I thought it was going to be more, but no, only 2 so far. So I think Sneeg will probably be someone that we'll see twice again this year, maybe 3 times even, because I think Sneeg is also a fan favorite in the Minecraft event scene, really, in general. And then Sasha only making 1 appearance, same with Gluon, but I only wanted to include 1 simmer in this roster. So Sasha making only 1 appearance, which was in Twitch Rivals NA. She already teamed with Toby, and I think her and Sneeg and her and Shelby would make for a good combo. So I think this would be a very fun team, and a chaotic one at that as well. Especially because Toby, Shelby, I think always is high energy, and then Sneeg is high energy, and then Sasha fits the vibe. Anyways, next up is Purple Team, which has the following players. As you can see, Curry Way, who has played twice now. I think Curry would make sense to become a regular player moving forward. I think maybe he could be already in a regular MCC participant now. It's kind of hard to say, but he's been in Twitch Rivals and seemingly got invited or reached out to for the NA one, but I'm not sure from what he said. I can't confirm that. However, I think Curry is obviously a fan favorite, one of the most requested people for MCC for such a long time, so it'd be cool to see Curry back. With Smant played 1 time. He was probably the most requested player for or at least one of the most requested players for the longest time. Finally made his first appearance in Kickoff, and then we haven't seen him since, which I don't think is super surprising. Smant isn't like the most glued to the Minecraft event scene, as some people make it seem. He is very much a guest appearance in terms of Minecraft events. You'll see him a bit more frequently in like Noah's events, but Noah and Smant are pretty good friends, and obviously he gets invited a lot. You've seen him in Block Wars a couple times, which is the same thing. I invite Smant manually sometimes to play in Block Wars, just because I think it'd be cool to see Smant in, and obviously he's down sometimes. And then also the rest of the team, of course, Can't just focus on Korean spans. Moxwomp has now played twice. Debuted in Pride, played in Twitch Rivals. I actually think it's cool to see Moxwomp in a bit more frequently. Is a very different player, but recently has gained a good amount of popularity within the MCC spaces. Has been talked about a bit more, so I think it would be fun. And then Mythical Sausage has only played once, but to be fair, Mythical Sausage wasn't really a regular before, but they made an appearance in Kickoff, and we haven't seen them since Kickoff, so maybe we'll see them again. And then last but not least, for the pink team, I mean, look, you're going to see a team of, or an event of people that are returning after a long time, or returning because they haven't played a lot, and it's a pink team. It only really makes sense to be something like that. Anyways, the team being Philza, Tommy Innit, Dan TDM, and Jack Manifold. This one has a bit of an asterisk to it, because this is based on what we've heard, but we don't know if what has been said will still apply going forward, because of other events that have been hosted in between, you know, the event Ender Cup and where we may be headed next. Phil, Tommy, and Dan have only played once this year, which was Ender Cup, but all of them seemed to show interest in playing MCC again afterwards or during the event in some way, shape, or form. I don't know the exact details. I don't want to like say, oh, this for sure happened, because I don't know for sure. Pretty sure Phil was just asked by the team about maybe playing again, and I don't think he seemed against it. Previously, Phil stopped playing MCC because he kind of lost the passion for it, and he obviously was aware that if he signed up, he'd get in. He didn't want to take a spot from someone who would be more passionate and more excited to play, so he took a step back, and obviously upon taking a step back probably kind of forgot about playing in MCC, so maybe him playing again kind of sparked something up a little bit, but obviously we haven't seen him since Ender Cup, which to be fair, Rising was impossible, and then Twitch Rivals, maybe he just wasn't available or wasn't interested. However, I think Phil maybe could play again. I don't really see like any of Phil, Tommy, or Dan signing up by themselves, but maybe upon being invited to something like this, which I think would be done manually, it'd be a refresh event, of course, I think they would play. And I think it would be a very fun combination of people here on this team. All of these people have only played once this year. I think Jack Manifold only playing in EU Twitch Rivals, if I remember correctly. That is correct, yes. So there you go. A bunch of one-time players for MCC this year. But God, would it be a fantastic team. It'd be very reminiscent of the old you know, COVID days of Phil and Tommy and Jack on the team, and Dan being like the guest appearance on this team who just fits and would be fantastic in terms of content and everything. I'd love to see it, but obviously probably a little bit copium, unless they want to, of course. I mean, hey, I'd love to see it, and it would be pretty cool. Also want to mention that with it being a refresh event, I mean, obviously, this is a hypothetical and not a real event or at all confirmed before anyone thinks that there's anything confirmed. This would be a pretty big viewership event, too. Kind of similar-ish to Ender Cup, maybe. Obviously, a little bit smaller because you don't have, like, a Disguised Toast type player base. But you have some pretty big hitters here in terms of numbers, and I think this would be pretty cool. I think this would be a fun idea. Are they going to do it? No, because I think MCC has planned out everything for the remainder of the year with how things are going. These are not, you know, they're not going to host these huge and super cool high-effort events just on the spot. Maybe Twitch Rivals NA was, but the rest, not really. So we'll see if any of this will happen at some point in the future. Probably not, but I hope to at least see a lot of these people make an appearance in MCC again this year, because I think it'd be very cool, and the audience and the fans would love it, okay? Of course, these are regulars and these are fan favorites, so they gotta play again at some point. Anyways, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the teams, and also on how many people have played in this MCC and how often some of these people have played in MCC, because, God, there's so many. I mean, I can't really count the exact amount, but I'm gonna guess this is at least more than 100, maybe like 120 plus. I don't know, but there's a lot of people. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.